If your parents bought their San Mateo home back in the 80s and you inherited in 2026, your property tax bill could jump from around $4,000 a year to over $20,000 a year. And here's the part that catches most families off guard. Most heirs don't find out until the assessor's notice shows up in the mail. I'm Burt Tsuei with the Burt Tsuei Real Estate Group, and I work San Mateo County every day. Over the last couple of years, I've watched more and more families on the Peninsula get blindsided by Prop 19, the law California voters passed in 2020 that quietly rewrote how inherited homes get taxed. If you've inherited a home, or you're about to, this video I wish every adult child in this county would watch before they make a single decision. Here's what I'm going to cover. First, what Prop 19 actually changed and where that scary $20,000 number comes from. Second, the one-year rule, the single biggest trap I see families fall into. Third, the $1 million cap and why even families that do everything right still owe more than they expected. And fourth, what your actual options are, plus where the statewide repeal effort stands right now. Let's get into it. Before 2021, California has something called Prop 58. If your parents owned a home and they passed it to you, you kept their property tax base. Period. Didn't matter if you moved in. Didn't matter if you rented it out. The low taxes came with the house. Prop 19 took effect February 16, 2021, and it tightened that down to a much smaller window. Here's how it works now. To keep your parents' low tax base when you inherit their home in San Mateo County, three things have to be true. 1. The house has to have been your parents' primary residence. 2. You have to make it your primary residence within 1 year of the date of transfer. 3. You have to file a form called the BOE-19-P with the San Mateo County Assessor and file for a homeowner's exemption within that same year. Miss any one of those and the county reassesses the home at today's full market value. Let me show you the math. Say your parents bought a home in San Mateo or Burlingame in 1985 for $200,000. Their property tax base with Prop 13 increases over the years sits somewhere around $400,000 today. They've been paying maybe $4,000 to $5,000 a year in property taxes. That same home today, conservatively, $1.8 to $2 million in most San Mateo County neighborhoods. If you inherit it and don't qualify for the Prop 19 exclusion, the home gets reassessed at $1.8 million. Your new property tax bill, somewhere between $20,000 and $22,000 a year. That's not a typo. That's roughly a 5 times jump. And in a county where the typical inherited home sits between $1.5 to $3 million, this is happening to families every single month. Okay, so here's where I've seen the most damage done. The 1-year rule. The law says you have to make the inherited home your primary residence within 1 year. And the assessor isn't going to just take your word for it. They want evidence. We're talking driver's license at the address, voter registration, utility bills in your name, the homeowner's exemption filed on time. Now think about the typical adult child inheriting a home in this county. You're probably 45, 55, maybe 65. You've got your own home, your own life. Your kids are in school wherever you put down roots. You inherit your parents' place in, say, San Bruno or Millbrae, and your first instinct is, I'll figure out what to do with it later. Maybe rent it out, maybe sell, maybe keep it as a vacation home. That instinct will cost you tens and thousands of dollars a year. If you do not move into that home as your full-time primary residence within 12 months, the Prop 19 exclusion is gone. Full reassessment. Doesn't matter if you intended to. Doesn't matter if you started renovation. Doesn't matter if the estate is still working through probate. I had a conversation last year with a family who inherited their mom's home in South San Francisco. Beautiful home, paid off, low tax base. 3 adult kids, all with families and homes in other parts of the country. None of them could realistically uproot. They didn't even realize the clock was ticking until about month 10. By then, their options had shrunk drastically. This is the trap. Don't get caught in it. Now, let's say you can move in. You've decided to keep the family home. You're going to live there. You filed the paperwork on time. Are you safe? Mostly. But here's the second thing that catches families. Prop 19 caps the exclusion. If your parents' home has a market value that's more than about $1 million above their assessed value, the exact figure is $1,044,586 in 2026, and it adjusts every couple of years. The excess gets added to the new tax base. Let me put real San Mateo numbers on it. Parents' assessed value, $400,000. Today's market value, $2 million. Difference of $1.6 million. The first $1.044 million of that gap is excluded. The remaining $556,000 gets added to the assessed value. So your new tax base becomes about $956,000. Your property tax goes from your parents' $4,500 a year to roughly $11,000 to $12,000 a year. Better than 22, sure, but still about triple what your parents were paying. Here's the other piece, the multi-heir situation. If you and your siblings inherit the home together, generally only the sibling who actually moves in and uses it as a primary residence keeps the exclusion on their share. If one of you moves in and the others don't, the other's fractional share can trigger partial reassessment. The cleanest path is usually for one sibling to buy the others out and become the sole owner and primary resident. But that takes financing, and it takes a family conversation. This is one of the most common situations I see in San Mateo County. 3 adult children, 1 family home, very different lives. The Prop 19 paperwork isn't the hard part. The family conversation is. So, what do you actually do? It depends on your situation, but here's the framework I walk clients through. Option 1, move in. If the home works for your life and the long-term tax savings makes sense, this is the cleanest path. File the BOE-19P, file the homeowner's exemption, get your driver's license and utilities switched over fast. The assessor wants documentation, not promises. Option 2, sell it. If nobody wants to move in, selling it sooner rather than later usually beats holding the property as a rental. Once it gets reassessed at the full market value, the carrying cost gets brutal. And one important thing most heirs don't realize, you typically get a stepped up cost basis at the date of death, which means the capital gains hit on a sale is usually much smaller than people expect. Option 3, buy out a sibling. If one of you wants to live there and the others don't, structuring it so the resident sibling takes full title can preserve more of the tax base. But the financing and the family agreement need to be handled carefully. To be clear, I'm a real estate agent, not a CPA or a state attorney. On any inherited property situation, I work alongside both, and you should too. The fees are small compared to the property tax mistakes I see families make. One more thing worth knowing. There's a current statewide effort. They're calling it Fix Prop 19, trying to qualify a repeal measure for the November 2026 ballot. They need close to 875,000 valid voter signatures by early May. 2 earlier attempts in 2022 and 2024 didn't make it across the finish line. Whether this third one qualifies, I genuinely don't know. But I would not plan around an appeal. Plan for the law as it is right now. Here's what I want you to walk away with. If you've inherited a home in San Mateo County, or you can see one coming, you have a 1-year window and a stack of paperwork between you and a tax bill that could quadruple. The decisions you make in the first 6 months matter more than almost anything else you'll do as an heir. If you've inherited a home anywhere in San Mateo County, whether it's a Hillsborough estate or a starter home in Daly City, and you're not sure what Prop 19 means for your situation, call or text me at 650-274-3598. I'll walk you through your options before the assessor does it for you. And if this was helpful, hit subscribe. I make videos like this every couple weeks specifically for Peninsula buyers, sellers, and inheritors. Next up, I'm going to walk through what happens if you decide to sell an inherited home and how the stepped up basis actually works for capital gains. I'll see you in the next one.